Vanessa here. Welcome to my Strictly Roundup. Hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Leave your comments, leave your questions. I will answer them. Gotta have you on board while I unburden and unleash my true Strictly feelings. Last week, I told you that the inside view is that when they want to get you out of Strictly, when I say they, I mean the bosses at the BBC, I mean the senior producers and all the people in charge of the programme, when they want to get rid of you, they have ways of dislodging you. One is the music that they choose to make you dance to. The other is the VT, the videotape of what you've been doing that week. The other, of course, is the costume. You could look like a right pranit. And when you look like a pranit, people don't vote for you. There's all that going on. But now let's put another unexpected ingredient into the mix. The Samba Dance-a-thon. Now that really does queer the pitch for the gorgeous, the Christmas miracle, the hilarious, the wonderful Chris McCausland, doesn't it? Because it's incredibly difficult for anyone to negotiate a dance-a-thon when you don't know where the people that you're dancing in competition with are going, you don't know where they're headed, you haven't seen their choreography, you haven't had a chance to practice all together on the floor. When you can see everything that's going on, it's still incredibly difficult to avoid a collision. When, like Chris, you cannot see, you do not have the power of sight, can you imagine how difficult that was for him and for Diane? Diane is trying to negotiate, to navigate, not to crash into anybody. And lo and behold, who went out first in the Sambathon? Chris and Diane. Now, my question to you is, was this fair? Was it fair to put them in this context? Was it fair, or was it just a way of giving Chris the fewest points, moving him down the leaderboard and saying, without saying, goodbye, sayonara, farewell? Because I think that Sambathon was unfair to Chris and Diane. I did not like it. As I saw it happening, I thought this is not a level playing field here. This is not fair. This is not right. They've introduced this. I reckon it's because they want to say goodbye to Chris. And I tell you this, I don't want to. I don't want to say goodbye to Chris, ever. I don't want to say goodbye to that incredible partnership he's got going on with Diane, ever. I would like to see him lift that glitter ball. I would like to see him take it home. I think he is amazing. He's funny. He's a wonderful dancer. He contributes everything to this program that you want, every single thing. Good humor, effort, talent, grace, wonderful charisma. I want him to stay till the end, and I don't want these left field obstacles flung in his path. It's not fair. I told you, when the bosses on Strictly have had enough of you, they have ways of making you leave. And one of those, I did say this, was what they did to poor old Jamie, Borthwick and Michelle when they played that ketchup song and they lowered him down from the wings on a giant ketchup bottle, and all his fellow dancers were all dancing about dressed as a tub of mustard and a tube of mayonnaise and all that kind of thing, a condiment, a kind of chorus of dancing condiments. I mean, they looked ludicrous. He looked ludicrous. It wasn't his fault. And all it meant was it detracted and distracted from his dancing and from Michelle's. And lo and behold, I said it would come to pass, and lo and behold, it has come to pass. It's bye-bye. Jamie and Michelle, did they deserve to go at this stage? I would say no. I'd say they didn't. But I would say that when the odds are stacked against you, it's very, very hard indeed to stem the tide. Very hard. So I think Jamie has every reason, as does Michelle, to feel a little hard done by, very disappointed. I don't think anyone would have been surprised to see him at least in the semi-final or maybe even the final. So goodbye, Jamie and Michelle. We loved having you on. Well, it's no secret that I am a fan of Pete Wicks. I'm a fan of him in real life. I really like him. He's funny. He's a great guy. He's incredibly bright and entertaining. He's also very handsome and incredible company. Lovely to stick around with. He really, really is. Did I want him to stay in the show? Yes. Is it just because I like him? No, it's because I think he's turned out to be the most pleasing, attractive, and really compelling dancer. And his progress has been beyond compare. He really has made a huge journey on the show, which is exactly what it's supposed to be all about. So here's Jamie and the beautiful Yowita still there when everybody thought they were going to go this week. Will they last another week? I'd like to see them stay the course. I would like Pete Wicks to be able to say, here I am on the Strictly final. I think he's got what it takes, and I think he delivers. Not only that, this program is, of course, a popularity contest. It's supposed to be a dance contest. That's what it's meant to be, but this isn't school. They can't make us do what they tell us to do. So we're allowed, I suppose, just like in a general election, really, to vote for the person we like the best. And the person we like the best, that's the gorgeous Pete Wicks and lovely Uwita. So I'd like to see them stay next week. That's what I'd like to do. I don't know about you, but when Tasha and Aljaz danced this week, the tears were trickling down my chin. I was crying so hard, it almost passed me by that they got the first perfect 40 of the series. They deserved it. There's no question about it at all. She was gossamer light. She looked almost like a feather, like a petal, like the wing of a butterfly. They seemed to dance in the most wonderful, kind of almost spiritual harmony. It really is a beautiful union to watch. And I mean, if anything were just justified, if anything were just, you get the result that you're supposed to get, they, I suppose, would win this series just on technical merit. But are they going to win? I would say they're not. The best dancer very rarely wins Strictly. JB and Lauren's Charleston has to be an all-time Strictly classic. It's one of those dances that is out there almost on its own, not really anything to do with the series. It's so exceptional. You remember it all alone in a kind of standalone category. The Charleston on Strictly is always choreographed by a professional Charleston choreographer because it's not part of conventional ballroom. So the usual choreographers don't have anything to do with it. A special choreographer comes in just for the Charleston. And JB, oh my God, he completely surpassed himself. I think even Lauren was amazed. The two of them looked quite astounded by how beautifully they had danced. It was very, very difficult to find any flaw in their performance. It's kind of casual and nonchalant, cool, amusing, diverting. It's absolutely sublime. JB, go on, mate. On an ordinary week doing an ordinary dance, your professional does, I would say, 90% of the choreography. And then there is an overall sort of choreography czar that comes in, checks the choreography, and will suggest little tiny changes or little amendments, because the professionals don't have 100% autonomy. They have a little bit of guidance, a little bit of supervision. It's only really for the Charleston that a completely separate Charleston expert choreographer comes in. So it's a kind of maelstrom of different creative talent. Some professionals, I would say, are better teachers. Some are incredible dancers, and some are gifted choreographers. It's when you get a professional that's unbelievably talented at all three that it melds beautifully. And if they can mesh that with a proper relationship, I don't mean a strictly curse, an improper relationship, I mean a proper relationship with their partner, that's when it all goes so beautifully that you're transported. Thank you so much for watching my Strictly Roundup. Always press the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Leave your comments, leave your questions. I'll answer all of them. Lots of love. See you next week.